So let us start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tatsat Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Jai Pataka Swaminiti Namine Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaurakata Dhamadaya Nagara Gramatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, all of you, welcome to this class on Srimad Bhagavatam. So today we are doing a very wonderful chapter called Parikshit Maharaj cursed by a Brahmana boy. So the story so far is that Parikshit Maharaj is currently ruling the kingdom of Pandavas after the Pandavas have left the planet. And Parikshit Maharaj was a Mahabhagavata or a very pure devotee, and he was very wonderfully ruling. But then what happened was he saw that there was a person who was dressed as a king and who was torturing a cow and a bull. So he appears in that place where this scene was happening. Then he chastises that person, and that personality is none other than the personality of Kali. Kali is the age of quarrel. So the age that we are currently in is called as Kali Yuga. So basically there are 4 yugas: Satya Yuga, Treta, Dwapara and Kali. And each of the yuga has got certain characteristics. In the Satya Yuga, dharma or the religious principles stand on 4 legs. Whereas in the Treta on 3, in Dwapara 2 legs or 2 pillars of dharma. Finally, in the age of Kali, there is only 1 pillar of religious principles remaining, and even that leg was being cut by the personality of Kali. So dharma is personified by the bull, whereas the cow personifies Mother Earth. So this was what was happening. And then Parikshit Maharaj engages in a conversation with the bull and asks the bull, who is troubling you? Then this personality of dharma does not directly answer to Parikshit Maharaj. And it says in a very philosophical answer, the bull dharma gives. Then Parikshit Maharaj realizes that it is Kali only who is causing all this problem. Okay. So then what happened? When this personality of dharma was being questioned, that, why are you getting trouble? It doesn't directly answer that, Parikshit Maharaj is giving me trouble, this guy is troubling me, that guy is troubling me. He doesn't do that because, when you point out at somebody and say that, this is a sinful activity, that sinful activity comes to us. Okay. So that was what has happened. So now what has happened is, Kali, surrenders to Parikshit Maharaj and says that, please don't kill me. Okay. Please give me some places to stay. So Parikshit Maharaj was a very kind-hearted personality, and then he gives 4 places to stay. Can anybody say what were that 4 places?
Gambling, then
gambling places,
illicit prostitution.
Yes. The 4 places of Kali are the places where there is gambling and the places where there is
Gold,
animal slaughter, where there is accumulation of gold and
meat eating, like illicit sex, illicit sex,
intoxication.
gambling.
Where there is slaughter, animal slaughter, where there is intoxication, where there is illicit relationship, where there is gambling, and when there is gold that's being accumulated. These are the 5 places actually. 5. One additional place has been given by, Parikshit Maharaj. So that's what has happened so far. And we see that Parikshit Maharaj, now we are going to hear about today's chapter. Okay, so let us begin today's chapter. Let me share my screen. Sutavacha yo vaidraunyastra viplushto namatur udare mrutaha anugrahad bhagavataha krishnad yudbhuta karmanaha. So due to the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who acts wonderfully, Maharaja Parikshit, though struck by the weapon of the son of Drona in his mother's womb, could not be burnt. So what has happened is, when Uttara, the mother of Parikshit Maharaj, when she was pregnant, and when Parikshit Maharaj was in her womb, at that time, Ashwathama releases a Brahmastra on her to kill Parikshit Maharaj so that there is no heir to Pandavas. He wants to ensure that, Pandavas lineage should stop. Just like Kauravas lineage has stopped, he wanted Pandavas lineage also to stop. So that's why he releases a Brahmastra on a pregnant woman. At that time, even though the Brahmastra came to strike Parikshit Maharaj within the womb, right? Lord Sri Krishna comes within the womb and absorbs the entire Brahmastra energy inside him. So therefore, Parikshit Maharaj remains untouched. So this was possible because of the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahma kapoditadyastu takshakat prana viplavad nasammu muhoru bhayat agavat arpitashayah. Furthermore, Maharaja Parikshit was always consciously surrendered to the personality of Godhead, and therefore he was neither afraid nor overwhelmed by fear due to a snake bird which was to bite him because of the fury of a Brahmana boy. So what happened is, Parikshit Maharaj goes on hunting. And when he goes for hunting, he becomes very tired on one day and he tries to find some water or a place of shelter. Then he goes to a ashrama of a rishi, right? And when he goes to the ashrama of a rishi, that person, that sage is actually meditating and he is in the stage of samadhi. And therefore he is not responding. Despite Parikshit Maharaj asking repeatedly, can you give me some water? Can you give me some water? He doesn't respond because he is completely in transcendence. So therefore, Parikshit Maharaj becomes infuriated and then he puts a dead snake on his shoulders and leaves the place. So the son of that rishi, right, that is Shringa, what he does is he curses Parikshit Maharaj that whoever has done this activity of putting a dead snake on my father's shoulders, he shall die in the next 7 days by the bite of the snake bird called Takshaka. So therefore he curses like that. So that was the curse that was delivered to Parikshit Maharaj. And Parikshit Maharaj, he felt very sorry when he was going back to his kingdom that why did I do this? I can't believe that I have done such a kind of a heinous act that I have insulted a great Brahmana. Then he feels very bad about it and he's ready to take any kind of curse. And he was not at all afraid or overwhelmed by fear due to this snake bird, which was to bite him because of the fury of the Brahmana boy. So therefore, it is said in the Shastras, there is a verse, it says, Narayana paras sarve nakutaschana bhibyati swargapavarga narekeshva apitulyartha darshinaha. That means the devotee is solely engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. Never fear any condition of life. For them, the heavenly planets, the liberation, and the hellish planets, they are all the same. For such devotees are interested only in the service of the Supreme Personality of God. This is a verse spoken by Lord Shiva to Parvati. Right? When King Chitraketu passed a remark on Lord Shiva, Parvati Devi cursed Chitraketu Maharaj that he will be born as an Asura. And therefore he was born as a Vruttasura in the next lifetime. But Lord Shiva says that, no, you have cursed Chitraketu Maharaj unnecessarily. But actually, the devotees of the Lord, they are not disturbed by any kind of curses, nor are they disturbed by any kind of benedictions. That's what he tells to Parvati Devi. So therefore, Parikshit Maharaj was not at all bothered that, he's going to die in a 7 days. He was not at all bothered, because this is the symptoms of a surrendered devotee. When a devotee surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he does not care about going to hell or heaven or to the liberation or anything. All that matters to him is to get pure devotional service. In the Shikshashtakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Nadhanam najanam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmani ishware bhavatad bhaktir ahaituki tvayi. That means he's saying that I am not concerned with money, nor with women, nor with scholarship, nor with anything else. All I am bothered about is life after life. I become your pure devotee. Let me have pure devotional service. So one thing that we have to understand is that an ignorant materialistic person also does not care about hell or heaven or liberation. That is due to ignorance and illiteracy. That is, without having the knowledge of that, he is doing vikarma, that is bad activities, the activities that are not supposed to be done. Such a kind of an ignorant person is doing, and gradually dragging himself towards hellish conditions at the end of the life. But the position of devotee is not like that. It is not due to ignorance that he is thinking like this. It is that he is fully intelligent. Buddha bhava samanvita. Lord Krishna always says in Bhagavad Gita that his devotees are Mahatmas, and they are pure souls, and they are very intelligent, right? Because they are very intelligent, they are taking Krishna consciousness. Because they are being fully Krishna conscious, they want to serve the Supreme Personality of God. So they have understood their constitutional position. The constitutional position of a living entity is to serve the Supreme Personality of God. It does not matter whether it is in the hell or heaven. It does not matter. And even if the liberation is causing a problem to our service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the pure devotees reject such kind of liberation. So this is the power of pure devotional service, that a person who gets this pure devotional service even rejects liberation, because it is a platform beyond liberation. We have 4 Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, and the 5th Purushartha is Bhakti, the pure devotional service of Lord Shri Krishna. Let's see the next verse. Usrijya sarvata sangam vijnata jita samstitihi vaijay saker jahau shishyo gangayam swam kalevaram. Furthermore, after leaving all the associates, the king surrendered himself as a disciple to the son of Vyasa, Shukadeva Goswami, and thus he was able to understand the actual position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and at last gave up his material body on the bank of Ganges. So what happens at the end? Parikshit Maharaj, there is a reversal in his life. I mean, it appears apparently that, oh my God, so it is like Akala Mrityu, means he's dying very early. He's still not, come to that age that he has to die. And he's not even dying in a battle. He's dying due to the curse of a Brahmana. Actually, that's the worst thing that can happen for a Kshatriya. Because, a Kshatriya is supposed to be subservient to the Brahmanas. And if he's cursed by the Brahmanas to die, that is, the situation is, there is a king called Vena, right? He was a very irreligious king, and he was not at all properly ruling. And he used to completely slaughter all his subjects, right? He used to be torturing all the people. So such a King Vena was cursed by the Brahmanas to die. So such kind of irreligious things are supposed to be cursed. But then Parikshit Maharaj has got such a kind of an insulting way of dying, right? It's not a very embarrassing way to die, right? Being cursed by a Brahmana. But he was not at all bothered. He didn't intend to do that, actually. First of all, we have to understand that this is all the pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to show that even when the pure devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are put into a greatest trouble also, they will come out of it with flying colors, right? So it does not matter. For a devotee, it does not matter how he dies, because he is always in Krishna consciousness 24/7, right? So what did he do at the end of his life? He did the right thing. So what did he do is, he went to the bank of Ganges and he surrendered to son of Vyasadeva, Shukadeva Goswami. Shukadeva Goswami is a pure devotee of Lord Sri Krishna. So Shukadeva Goswami, he instructed this Srimad Bhagavatam for 7 days and 7 nights at a stretch, right? So that's what happened. And Parikshit Maharaj, he was hearing these transcendental stories of Krishna, and he left his body and he went back to Godhead. So we see all over Srimad Bhagavatam, we see so many reversals for various devotees. But every time a devotee is put into any kind of tribulation, they will remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they are saved from that situation and they go back to Godhead. So therefore it is said that here the word Ajita has been used here, right? Ajita means unconquerable. It is not possible to conquer Krishna. Actually, there is no possibility. I mean, in the history, there is nobody who has been able to conquer Krishna, right? Even if you see all the pastimes of Krishna, nobody can conquer Krishna. Who can conquer the Supreme Personality of Godhead? It is not possible to conquer God, right? But he can be conquered through love. So if a pure devotee is standing in front of him, then he is ready to get conquered. So if Yashoda is coming to tie, a rope to Damodar, that is to Lord Shri Krishna, he's ready to get conquered. So he's ready to get caught by Yashoda, right? He's ready to get caught by the wives of the Dwaraka, right? He's ready to be, conquered by the gopis and the pure devotees, but not by the mental speculators and the atheistic non-believers. They can never conquer him, right? This is the way to conquer Lord Sri Krishna, that is through pure devotional service. Nottama shloka vartanam jushatam tat kathamrutam syat sambhramonta kalepi smaratam tat padam bhujam. This was so because who have dedicated their lives to the transcendental topics of the personality of Godhead, of whom the Vedic hymns sing, and who are constantly engaged in remembering the lotus feet of Lord, do not run the risk of having misconceptions even at the last moment of their lives. So this is such an important instruction for all of us, right? If we dedicate our life to listening to transcendental topics of personality of Godhead, that is, if we have to dedicate our life to remembering the Srimad Bhagavatam, right, then what is the benefit? The benefit is we will not run the risk of having misconceptions even at the time of death. Actually, the time of death is a very important moment. It is a moment of testing, right? Therefore, Lord Shri Krishna in the 8th chapter, he says, Antakalecha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samadbhavam natyastra na samshayaha. So that means that, whoever remembers the Supreme Personality of Godhead at the time of death, Ante Narayana Smriti, those people will go back to Krishna. And there is no doubt about it. But those people who fail to remember Krishna, what happens to them? Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever, consciousness that we leave our body with, that consciousness we will attain. So if we remember about a human being or about relatives like that, then we will have to take another human body. If we remember our pet dog at the time of dying, we will have to take the dog's body. Therefore, The time of death is very crucial moment where we have to remember the personality of God. But a common man who has not practiced Krishna consciousness all his life, for him it is very difficult to remember Krishna. But for a pure devotee who is constantly practicing Krishna consciousness, for him it is very easy in the association of the devotees. We have seen in the past so many great devotees, of our movement have left their body in the association of the devotees, right? Even though they are not able to remember, the devotees all around them, they are singing and chanting the names of Krishna and making the person remember Krishna at the time of death. So this is possible for the devotees only. Okay, so let's go to the next verse. Tavat kalirna prabhavet pravishtopiha sarvataha yavat isho mahan urvyam abhimanyavaya ekarat. Abhimanyava. Okay, his name is called as Abhimanya. Means he's son of Abhimanyu. Therefore, his name is Abhimanya. So he's the son of Abhimanyu. As long as he remains as the emperor of the world, there is no chance of the personality of Kali to flourish. Right? So, at the moment, we are in the Kali Yuga and we are actually troubled by the vices of Kali. Right? There are so many imperfections in the society all around us. There is corruption, nepotism, and bribes, and so many negative things that are happening in the society. This is all because of the influence of the personality of Kali, the age of Varun. But as long as Parikshit Maharaj was ruling, Kali was not able to do anything, right? Because he was ruling so nicely, right? So what he used to do was, he used to make everybody, all the citizens, to be Krishna conscious. So as a government policy, he used to encourage the congregational chanting of the holy names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So he used to encourage that, all the citizens hear to the transcendental stories of Krishna. By doing that, the personality of Kali cannot flourish. Nanudveshti Kalim Samrat, Saranga Iva Sarabhuk, Kushalyanya Ashu Siddhyanti, Netarani Kritaniyat. Maharaj Parikshit was like a realist, like the bees who only accept the essence of a flower. He knew perfectly well that in the age of Kali, auspicious things produce good effects immediately, whereas inauspicious acts must be actually performed to render effects. So he was never envious to the personality of Kali. So this personality of Kali is very dangerous, no doubt. But there are some positive points about Kali Yuga also. Really, there are some positive points about Kali Yuga. What are they? Right? The Srimad Bhagavatam in the 12th canto, there has been description about this Kali Yuga, right? How the Kali Yuga symptoms are, right? So in that, it has been said, Kaler dosha nidhe rajan, asti eko mahan gunaha, kirtanadeva krishnasya, mukta sangha param vrajet. Right? So this age of Kali is filled with defects. It's guna, it is Kaler dosha. Kaler dosha nidhe raj. It is a treasure of faults. So it's not that, if you count faults in Kali Yuga, innumerable number of faults you can count. But there is one benefit that we have. Kirtana Deva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Vrajet. Simply chant the names of Krishna and you can go back to God. So this is such a wonderful opportunity in Kali Yuga that all of us have. So this is the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it is just like when the question paper becomes very tough, the passing mark comes down, isn't it? It is just like that. So it has been made very easy. The system has been made very easy, right? In the other yugas, the system was very difficult, right? Krite yadhyayato vishnum, tretayam yajato makhai, dvapare paricharyayam, kalotadhari kirtanat. In the Krita Yuga, you have to do dhyana, meditation for thousands of years. People used to go out, they used to live for 1 lakh years. So they will take out 10,000 years and they will meditate. 5,000 years, 1,000 years. So they used to be perfect in Krita Yuga, in meditation process, going to Himalayas and meditating for thousands of years. In the Treta, they used to perform fire sacrifices, very grand fire sacrifices. These fire sacrifices are like Ashwamedha Yajna, Rajasuya Yajna. It is not possible for a common man to do this kind of sacrifices because it involves a lot of cost, right? And it is very difficult to find that kind of Brahmanas who can recite these mantras perfectly and do these yajnas properly also. So it is not possible in this age at least, right? In the Treta Yuga, they were able to do that. And in the Dwapare Paricharyayam, that means they used to do temple worship. Temple worship in a very grand way. I mean, nowadays we see that, it's so difficult to maintain a temple. It's so difficult to get funds, right? It's not at all possible to, maintain this kind of a grand temple worship because people are more or less, they are all atheistic, right? So it's very difficult. That is also not possible. So, Kale Tad Hari Kirtana. In the Kali Yuga, the process is chanting of the holy names of Krishna, right? So, there is a special feature about Kali Yuga that has been mentioned here, that auspicious things produce good effects immediately, whereas inauspicious things must be actually performed to render effects, right? So in the Krita Yuga and in the previous Yugas, even if we think about a sinful activity with our mind also, we will get the sin of performing the sin, right? Or even if we talk about a sinful activity, we will get that sin, right? But in the Kali Yuga, unless you perform that sinful activity, you won't get sin. But simply if you think mentally that, okay, let me do some nice charity, let me do distribution of Bhagavad Gita to 1 million households. Simply if you think about it also, you will get the result immediately. Because people are so narrow-minded in Kali Yuga that they are not even ready to think auspicious activities. Right? They will only think about inauspicious activities, or they will not think at all about any kind of an auspicious or pious activity. But once we know the secret that we have to even think also, we will get that, punya or the pious activity, right? Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj, he never hated Kali. I mean, after we hear the description of Kali, we feel like, who is this Kali? I mean, I wish I could just kill this fellow off, so that the society is, very happy. Right? So, but then he was not envious of Kali because Kali has got so many defects, but it is also having some nice features, right? I just presented, right? What features Kali has. The Kali feature is that's given here is, even though you do not do that activity, even if by thinking only you can get that pious results. But for the negative activities, vikarma, the sinful activities, the activities which are not prescribed in the Vedas, right? That activities, if you only do it only, you will get the effects. So this is a very wonderful age Kali. So we have to take benefit of it by chanting the names of Krishna, not by associating with Kali, but by chanting the names of Krishna. Kimno baleshu shurena kalina dhira bhiruna apramatta pramatteshu yovrikon rishu vartate. Maharaj Parikshit considered that the less intelligent might find the personality of Kali to be very powerful, but that those who are self-controlled would have nothing to fear. The king was powerful like a tiger and took care of the foolish and the careless persons. So, this Kali is very dangerous and is very powerful, and he has got the influence in every household. We see that practically every household, they are quarreling. So there is a quarrel between the parents and children. There is quarrel in the businesses, right? Within the businesses. There is quarrel in the streets. There is quarrel between husband and wife also. What can we talk about Kali? Every household, they are fighting. Is it not? So everybody is influenced by the age of Kali. But the self-controlled people, they are not influenced by the age of Kali. Because the self-controlled people, they are very intelligent. They know what is that umbrella or what is that protection that they have to take. What is that immunity against the Kali Yuga. That process they have taken. The chanting of the holy names of Krishna and listening to the stories of Krishna that they have taken. Therefore, they are 100% immune from the age of Kali. So, but for those people, such foolish people, Parikshit Maharaj used to take care of such less intelligent people. So, Upavarnitam etadvaha punyam parikshitam maya vasudeva kathopetam akhyanam yada pruchata. O sages, as you did ask me, now I have described almost everything regarding the narrations of Lord Krishna in connection with the history of the pious Parikshit Maharaj. So actually the sages had asked a question, can you please describe about Maharaj Parikshit? This was the question asked by the sages. See, generally, the sages are not interested in any kind of a king history, because king history is called Gramya Katha, right? Politics. Just like we open the newspaper in the morning and say, oh, this chief minister, that chief minister is a thief, we start, right? So this is actually called as Gramya Katha, or it's a very materialistic mindset, right? This is not a good thing to do actually, right? To talk about politics and to talk about corrupt men. So the sages will never kind of engage in these kind of activities, but they are asking, can you please tell about Parikshit Maharaj? To the they are asking the Shaunaka Rishi on behalf of all the sages of Naimisharanya. He is asking to Suta Goswami. Suta Goswami has narrated so far about Parikshit Maharaj, about his birth, and how what was predicted by the astrologers when he was born, how he was ruling the kingdom, how he punished this Kali. Everything he was explaining, right? So generally the sages are not interested in kings, because kings are always in sense gratification. Kings, politics. It is said in Chanakya Niti that, politicians should never be trusted. They are more or less like a snake. They can bite anytime. So political families, politicians should never be trusted. So that is Chanakya Niti. So these people are not interested in hearing any politics. Kings come, kings go. This is all normal. So, but then Parikshit Maharaj was a pure devotee of Krishna. Therefore, they were interested to hear about Parikshit Maharaj, or else they are not interested in hearing about the story of Parikshit Maharaj if he was not a devotee. Since he is a pure devotee, and pure devotees and Krishna, their stories, they have the similar kind of a effect. Just simply by hearing the story of a pure devotee, we become very blissful. Right? Then what to talk about the Supreme Personality of Godhead? His stories are even more blissful. Right? Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam is not only the story of Krishna, but the story of all his eternal associates and his pure devotees and all the surrendered souls, right? It is the story of those devotees. Yaya Katha Bhagavataha Katha Niyoryu Karmanaha Gunakarma Shraya Pumbhi Samsevyasta Bhubhushvibhi. Those who are desirous of achieving complete perfection in life must submissively hear all topics that are connected with the transcendental activities and the qualities of the personality of Godhead, who acts wonderfully. So what is the instruction that's given here? If we are desiring to achieve complete perfection in life, then we must submissively hear these topics connected with the activities and qualities of Krishna. And in the Bhagavad Gita, therefore, Lord Shri Krishna in the 4th chapter, he says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. Right? By hearing the transcendental pastimes of the birth and activities of Krishna, we become liberated. And there is no more birth and death. This is the simple formula given in the Bhagavad Gita. That is why, Srila Prabhupada, in his purport, he has recommended that everybody take up this simple and easy process. At a individual level, at the family level, and at the national level also, if we can make the stories of Srimad Bhagavatam a part of our syllabus also for children, it will be very beneficial. Actually, the Srimad Bhagavatam stories, instead of putting Alice in Wonderland, we must put Srimad Bhagavatam. It makes much more sense. You will find people that, the sinful activities, the sinful tendencies of children will be gone, right? They will no longer be addicted to any kind of sinful activities, right? So Urta Punjab will no longer be Urta Punjab, right? So we are seeing today that, in the just like in the state of Punjab, the drug trafficking is around a business of a 2,000 crores business. So this kind of activities you cannot curb by doing any kind of activities at the national level. What has to be done is systematically present Srimad Bhagavatam in the syllabus for children. If it is not there in the syllabus, as parents, it is our duty to present this Srimad Bhagavatam to our children. Actually, if we are not presenting Srimad Bhagavatam to our children, we are doing a great harm to them. That is what the Shastra says. It says a person who cannot liberate his children or his dependents or his disciples from the material birth and death should not become a spiritual master, should not become a parent, should not become a husband, or should not even become a friend also. So that means as a friend, as a father, as a mother, as a well-wisher, or as a spiritual master, everyone's duty is to help their dependents to exit this cycle of miseries, the cycle of birth and death. So that is possible by the simple formula which Srimad Bhagavatam is hammering from the verse number 1 to verse number 18,000. So why don't we just simply take it and try it out? If you try it out, you can see the result, right? If you try it, then you can see whether it is working or not. If you do not try, how will you know it is working or not? Correct? So this is the process that is recommended in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and we have seen results. And the personal level also, the society level also, whoever has taken up this process of hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam has been transformed, right? He may be a dacoit also. Such a person will become a very, very pious personality. And this is the guarantee of Srimad Bhagavatam. Let us continue. Rishyovacha Suta Jiva Sama Soumya Shashvatir Vishadam Yashaha Yastvam Shamshachi Krishnasya Martyanam Amritam Hinaha. The good sages said, "O great Suta Goswami, may you live many years and have eternal fame, for you are speaking very nicely about the activities of Lord Sri Krishna. This is like nectar for mortal beings like us." So the rishis, right, the sages of Naimisharanya, they became so happy by hearing, what Suta Goswami is telling to them. He said, "Wow, this is just like nectar. You just told the stories of Maharaja Parikshit. This is amazing. Just don't stop. Please keep going." Right? So this stories of Krishna is Amrita. Tabakatamritam tapta jivana. So that means it is Katha Amrita. Right? It is a nectar. It is so sweet. It is so tasty. Karmanya asmin anavashe dhuma dhuma tamam bhavan apayatagati govinda pada padmasavam madhuhu. We have just begun the performance of this fruitive activity as sacrificial fire without certainty of its result. Due to the many imperfections in our action, our bodies have become black from smoke. But we are factually pleased by the nectar of the lotus feet of personality of Godhead Govinda, which we are distributing. So actually, in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Krishna recommends the performance of fire sacrifices. Yajñartat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Right? But fire sacrifices performance in this age of Kali, it is not possible. And it is not effective also. Even if you perform fire sacrifice 1000 years also, it is not effective. What is the proof? Here is the proof. The proof is the rishis, the sages who have assembled in the Naimisharanya, they are saying, by continuous performance of these fire sacrifices for hundreds and thousands of years, our bodies have become black with soot. So there is so much of smoke that, completely their bodies became jet black. But they are not able to find any result because of imperfection of Kali Yuga. It is not possible. Fire sacrifice method is not possible in the Kali Yuga. The Kali Yuga, the method is Sankirtana Yajna or Japa Yajna. Right? Sankirtana Yajna, that is the chanting, congregational chanting of the holy names of Krishna. If we do this at an individual level, society level, and at the state level, then the personality of Kali can be checked. Then irreligion can be checked. Then everybody can be peaceful and then they can be happy. So this is what we have to understand. And not by performing any kind of karma kanda is not effective. Karma kanda is not effective in Kali Yuga. That we have to understand. Bhakti is effective. Tulyama lavanepi, Tulyama lavane lapi, Nasvargam na punarbhavam, Bhagavat sangi sangasya, Matyanam kim utashisaha. The value of a moment's association with the devotee of the Lord cannot even be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter. And what to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are for those who are meant for death. This is a very important verse. Tulyama lavanapi. Lavenapi. Lava means a very, 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 very fraction of a second. That's why it said sadhu sangha, lavamatra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. Lava means if you associate with the pure devotee of Krishna, even for a fraction of a second, then our life becomes transformed. So this is the process given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So it is said that the Ganges, even if you bath in the Ganges, it will take a long time for that to take effect on us, to purify us. But if you associate with the pure devotee, if you take the audience of a pure devotee, just for a moment, that has an instant purification. We are immediately purified. We don't even have to wait for that to purify us. So that is the importance of the association of the pure devotees. This is an important point that we have to understand. Devotional service must be done in the association of devotees. This is the process how it is supposed to be done. Just like when the gopis used to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they used to serve under the guidance of Radharani, right? They are all serving together as a group, right? So this is a kind of a group activity to be done under the guidance of a pure devotee, just like how the gopis are taking the guidance of Radharani, and they are performing as a group in a congregation. Similarly, pure devotional service is not an individual activity that, I will go to a cave and chant the names of Krishna. That is not possible, right? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says in the book called Vaishnava Cave, he says that, that kind of mentality that you want to do devotional service in a cave, that is actually not devotional service, right? That is simply sense gratification. You just want everybody to be praising you. That is why you are doing individually. But that is not devotional service. That is what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said in Vaishnava Cave. And he says that it is a trap of Maya. If you think that, okay, I am fed up of these devotees, why should I associate with the devotees? Let me do it myself. If you think like that, that means you are under the trap of Maya. Actually, that is not the recommended way of doing devotional service, right? It is supposed to be done like this. In the Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya, Bhagavata Sangha Sangisya, you must be in the association of the devotees, right? Always be in the association of the pure devotees. Then they will push you. Even if you do something wrong, they will immediately say, don't do this, right? You will have the power of association, and everything becomes very easy also in the association of the pure devotees. Okay, let us see the next one. Kona matrutye drasavet kathaya mahottamaikanta parayanasya nantam gunanam agunasya jagmur yogeshwaraye bhavapadma mukhyaha. The personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, Govinda, is the exclusive shelter for all great living beings, and his transcendental attributes cannot even be measured by such masters of mystic powers such as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Can anyone who is expert in relishing the nectar, rasa, ever be fully satiated by hearing the topics about him? Right? First of all, Krishna's transcendental attributes or the Krishna's gunas, they cannot be measured by anybody, including the great personalities like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. What to talk about the ordinary mortal living beings? It is not possible for anybody to understand the greatness of Krishna. And once we start hearing this nectar, we never feel satiated. We feel like, let it go on, let it go on. It is so pleasing, it is so pleasing. What? Ritu Maharaj said, when he sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he says, "Oh my dear Lord, please give me 1,000,000 years so that I can hear your pastimes from each of these years. 2 years are not sufficient. I want to hear more. I want to hear from various devotees at the same time and, relish your pastimes." Now, this is called enjoyment. We should understand what is transcendental enjoyment in life, right? This is transcendental enjoyment. Hearing the stories of Krishna is transcendental enjoyment. And konama truptyed rasavid kathaya. Right? Who can be satiated by hearing these topics? Nobody can become fully satiated by this because they're so nectarian. Tanno bhavan vai bhagavat pradhano mahatamaikanta parayanasya harerudaram charitam vishuddham sushrutam no vitanotu vidvan. O Suta Goswami, you're a learned and a pure devotee of the Lord because the personality of Godhead is your chief object of service. Therefore, please describe to us the pastimes of the Lord which are above material conception, for we are all anxious to receive such messages. So, there are two types of katha. Gramya katha and Krishna katha. Gramya katha means open the newspaper, right? See who all were molested, who all were harassed, who all were murdered. Read this news and enjoy. This is called Gramya katha, right? Another kind of katha is there. That is called Hari katha or Krishna katha. This is transcendental katha, right? These pastimes are transcendental. They take us out of this material world. They liberate us. They purify us. So this is transcendental. So therefore, Narayana para avyakta and Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is not material. There is not even a tinge of materialism inside the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is Sachidananda Vigraha. He is fully spiritual. And every story about him is fully spiritual. And even the stories of his devotees are fully spiritual. Therefore, we must be trying to read this. Okay, let's see the next one. Savai Mahabhagavata Parikshit Yena Pavargakyamada Brahbuddhihi Jnanena Vaiyasakishabditena Bheje Khagendra Dvajapadamulam. O Suta Goswami, please describe these topics of the Lord by which Maharaja Parikshit, whose intelligence was fixed on liberation, attained the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of Garuda, the king of birds. Those topics were vibrated by the son of Vyasa, Srila Shukadeva Goswami. So the sages of Naimisharanya, right, headed by Shaunaka Rishi, they all are performing a fire sacrifice to nullify the effects of Kali Yuga. So Kali Yuga has got so many effects and the society is going to be very disturbed by that. And the sages could foresee that. Therefore, they are doing a 1,000 years of fire sacrifice. As a part of that, they are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, and their leader or the spokesman is Shaunaka Rishi, and the speaker is Suta Goswami. And they are asking for more. We want more. We want more. So this should be the attitude in Krishna consciousness. Just like, grab it. My Guru Maharaj used to say, how you should take Krishna consciousness. Just like sometimes it seems in the USA, there'll be a kind of a sale. You know what kind of sale? They'll open the showroom for 1 minute. Whatever you can grab is yours. So everybody, there'll be some people who will be left. Okay, let's say 10 people, they will run and whatever they can grab, they will just grab it and, lift it and bring it outside. That is all theirs. So this is how Krishna consciousness must be done, right? Must be done. We must have we must feel like, I want to do more and more and more and more. I want to listen more and more and hear more and more. That is how we are supposed to be doing this Krishna consciousness, right? So that is how these sages of Naimisharanya are asking, please tell us more about the stories of Krishna. These topics were spoken by son of Vyasadeva, Shukadeva Goswami. They're wonderful topics, huh? Tanna param punyam asamvritatam akhyanamathyadbhuta yoga nishtam Akhyahyananta charitopapannam parikshitam bhagavatabhiramam. Please narrate to us the narrations of the unlimited, for they are purifying and supreme. They were spoken to Maharaja Parikshit and they are very dear to the pure devotees, being full of bhakti yoga. The pure devotees, they like this very much, right? So therefore you speak this. Then Suta is very encouraged. The speaker and the listeners. The listeners must be very enthusiastic and the speaker must be very enthusiastic. And the questions asked by the listeners should be in such a way that the speaker should feel like talking more and more and more and more. And the listener should feel like listening more and more and more. So this is the Krishna consciousness activity. Suta uvacha aho vayam janma bruto dhyasma vruddhanuvrityapi viloma jataha daushkulyamadim vidunoti sigram mahatamanam adidhana yogaha. Suta Goswami said, although we are born in a mixed caste, we are still promoted in the birthright simply by serving and following the great who are advanced in knowledge. Even by conversing with such great souls, one can without delay cleanse oneself of all disqualification resulting from the lower births. So the name Suta is actually a mixed caste, right? So we have Varnas, 4, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. And when there is a mixture of this, right, we have a mixed kind of castes, right? There is a Anuloma marriage and a Pratuloma marriage, right? When there is a Brahmin mother and a Kshatriya father, there will be a one kind of a caste. When there is Brahmin father and a Kshatriya mother, that will be one kind of caste. So these are kind of combinations. Suta is a mixed caste. It's not a pure Varna. It is not like a Brahmana. But here, Srimad Bhagavatam is spoken by Suta Goswami. Suta Goswami is speaking. So he is himself saying, see, what is he saying is, even though I am born in a mixed caste, I am promoted by birthright, in the birthright, simply because I have been serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who are, simply by following and serving the great people who are advanced in knowledge. That means by serving the pure devotees, whatever kind of contamination that we may have because of the birth, that are all cleansed. So therefore, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, Chuchi hoy muchi yadi Krishna tyaje. Muchi hoy shuchi yadi Krishna bhaje. That means a Brahmana, if he gives up Krishna consciousness, he is muchi, untouchable. He demoted to the state of untouchable. Muchi hoy shuchi. That person may be even a dog eater also. If he is associating in Krishna consciousness, if he is a Krishna conscious devotee, he is a Brahmana. That is the rule. So therefore, he is saying that simply by associating with the pure devotees, we can get all the Brahmanical qualities. Right? Kuta punagrirnato namatasya mahatamaikanta parayanasya yonta shaktir bhagavan ananto mahat gunatvad yamananta mahuhu. And what to speak of those who are under the direction of the great devotees, chanting the holy name of the unlimited, who has unlimited potency. The personality of God had unlimited in potency and transcendental attributes is called Ananta, unlimited. He's saying a person who is born in a mixed caste like me, I have become purified. Then what to talk about those people who are always chanting the holy names of Krishna? They are not ordinary people, right? There was a verse that I was reading in the Vaishnava Tantrasara that says those people who are reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita morning and evening, they are Devarupena Samstita. They are not ordinary people, right? They are godly people. They are not normal people, right? So these pure devotees and this society of Krishna consciousness is a transcendental society. It's not an ordinary mundane society. Etavatalam nanusochitena gunair asamyanatishayanasya hitvetaran prartayato vibhutir yasyangri renum jusateru bhipsoho. It is now asserted that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unlimited and there is no one equal to him. Consequently, no one can speak of him adequately. Great demigods cannot obtain the favor of the goddess of fortune even by prayers. But this very goddess renders service unto the Lord. although he is unwilling to have such service. So it is not that Lord Vishnu is hankering for the service of Lakshmi Devi and saying, Lakshmi, please massage my lotus feet. I'm feeling some pain in my leg. He doesn't need any kind of a service. Even though he is unwilling to have such a service, Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, she is unwilling to leave that service. She is chanchala, right? She is very fickle. She doesn't stay in one place, but she is massaging the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu from eternity. And she is not shaken from her position even for a moment. Right? So Lakshmi Devi is doing like that. And great demigods are seeking the favor of Lakshmi. See, every living entity, everybody, they are starting startups, unicorns, right? They are all hankering for Lakshmi's glance. That, they want to do these big startups. Why do they want to do startups? So that, they make it a big unicorn, sell it for billions of dollars. What is that? They just want Lakshmi's glance. So they are worshipping Lakshmi, right? Indirectly, right? So even the great demigods, Indra and all the devatas, they're always worshipping Lakshmi, so that, they are always very opulent. They're enjoying very nice material life. But Lakshmi is serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though he is not willing to have her service. He is not interested in that service, but still she is doing. So we have to understand what is the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? His story is unlimited. It doesn't have any limit. We cannot adequately talk and glorify Krishna. He is infinite. He is Vibhu. We cannot talk about, we cannot say this is it. This much is Krishna. We cannot say what is Krishna. Atapi yatpada vrishtam jagad virincho pahrita haranambaha shesham punatyantiyatamo mukunda konama loke bhagavata padarthaha. Who can be worthy of the name of the Supreme Lord but the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna? Brahmaji collected the water emanating from the nail of his feet in order to award it to Lord Shiva as a worshipful welcome. This very water is purifying the whole universe, including Lord Shiva. What does this shloka say? So Ganga, where is Ganga emanating from? Ganga is actually coming from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. It has come from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. And it is coming from the feet of Lord Vishnu, and it is purifying the entire world, right? Including Lord Shiva, right? It is given as a worship. Lord Shiva is welcoming that Ganga, which is the water washed from the feet of Lord Vishnu. He is welcoming it by putting on his head. And it is said here that this Ganga is purifying the entire universe, including Lord Shiva. So then you can understand how pure the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. Yatra nurakta sahasaiva dhira vyapokya dehadishu sangamudham vrajanti tatparamaham syamantyam yasmin ahimso pashama swadharma. Self-controlled persons who are attached to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, can all of a sudden give up the world of material attachment, including the gross body and subtle body, and go away to the highest perfection of the renounced order of life, by which non-violence and renunciation are consequential. Actually, to give up something is a very difficult thing. Just imagine, if I ask you to give up something very simple also, it is very difficult. I mean, if you are just used to, even what to talk about anything else, when we are working in office, we sit in one cubicle. If they reshuffle and say, please leave this place, we'll be going to another floor. Or if they say, can you leave that seat and come here? They'll say, no, this is a nice seat. I like this seat. And we'll start fighting. There's a very nice lighting is coming. This is a corner. I have my friends here. How can I leave this seat? It is a seat in the office that we are not able to give up. This is our position actually. Renunciation is not easy. But those people who are surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, those people, if we hear to the stories of Krishna, then renunciation becomes very easy. Because at the end, anyways, we have to renounce, because we have to give up the body. Even if we don't want to give up the body, material nature will kick us out. Material nature will kick the soul out and say, sir, please get out. Your time is up. You say, no. I am in a project. I have to do construction. Construction work is going on, sir. Please give me some more days. No, no, sir, get out. So the living entity will be pulled out and kicked out of the body. Anyways, that has to happen. Then why don't we just, why should we keep attached with this kind of a subtle body and material body? And with this kind of attachment, we are simply getting suffering, life after life. We are being born again and again and again and suffering because of this kind of attachment with the body. It begins with the body. Means I am not able to, first of all, leave the attachment of my body, right? And because of this, I am suffering life after life after life with the problems of birth, death, old age, and disease, right? So this is the solution is there. The solution is given here. Solution is Krishna consciousness makes Vairagya very easy, right? So Janayatyasu Vairagyam Dhyanam cha Yadahaitukam. That means by worshipping Krishna, Dhyana and Vairagya become child's play. Anybody can become renounced. It's not at all difficult, right? That is the greatness of being attached to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Aham hi prishto ramyamano bhavavir achaksha atma bhagamotra yavan nabah patantyatma samam patitranas tatha samam vishnu gatim vipaschitaha. O rishis who are as powerful and pure as the sun, I shall try to describe to you the transcendental pastimes of Vishnu as far as my knowledge is concerned. As the birds fly in the sky, as far as their capacity allows, so do the learned devotees describe the Lord as far as their realization allows. So it's a beautiful comparison. See, the birds, there are different kinds of birds, is it not? There is eagle which can fly up to 10,000 feet. And there are some birds like hen and ostrich which cannot fly much, right? Peacocks, they cannot fly very high, right? And there are some birds which are in the between, right? So birds have their capacity to fly to a certain height. Similarly, Suta Goswami is accepting his limitation, saying Lord is unlimited. His pastimes are unlimited. His qualities are unlimited. But I can only describe up to my capacity, is what he is humbly saying, Suta Goswami. Okay. Let's see the last words of the day today. Ekada dhanurudyamya vicharan mrugayam vani mrugan anugata shrantaha kshuditah trishtito bhrisham jalashayam achakshanaha pravivesha tamashramam dadarsha munim asinam shantam milita lochanam. Once upon a time, Maharaja Parikshit, while engaging in the hunting in the forest with bow and arrows, became extremely fatigued. Hungry and thirsty while following the stags. While searching for a reservoir of water, he entered the hermitage of a well-known Shamika Rishi and who was sitting silently with closed eyes. So this is the beginning of the story of Parikshit Maharaj being cursed by the Brahmana boy, which we'll be seeing in the next week. So Parikshit Maharaj, one day he was doing hunting and he became very tired. And he came to the hermitage of the sage Shamika. And here what has happened is he wanted some water, right? But he saw that Shamika Rishi is in full meditation, completely in trance, right? And he's unable to come out of the trance. So Parikshit Maharaj is now going to interact with this Shamika Rishi. And we have to see what are those consequences under which Parikshit Maharaj got cursed. Was this curse justified? Is something that we have to see in the coming week's topic. So in this today's chapter, there are so many nice takeaways that we have to learn and remember. Right? So I would like to ask you, what are the takeaways that you have learned for this week? Yes, you can unmute yourself and you can please tell. Hare Krishna. Anybody, can you tell what are the takeaways that you have learned in this class today?
By hearing Bhagavatam itself, we can escape from birth and death.
Correct. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Kali Yuga with all its defaults, the best thing is that you can chant. And Prabhu, can I say something?
Yes,
like
please.
when you were saying now, Guru Maharaj said, go to the mall. There is one saying in Hindi we have, Ram Ram ki loot hai, loot sake to loot. Pache pastai kya hai, jab pran jayenge shoot.
Hari Bol.
Like, you had mentioned Guru Maharaj. So.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dhanavad Pranam.
I from your class, I taking Okay, only worshipping Lakshmi won't get Lakshmi. You have to worship in Narayan, then only Lakshmi will stay and come actually. Okay? Because Lakshmi is always Narayan actually.
Haribol, yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Prabhuji, a businessman will always talk in business only.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that this is the group of devotees in this Kali Yuga. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It was not so clear, Mataji. Can you repeat? Sorry.
Yeah, I got the takeaway is to be always in the group of devotees, and that is the best in this Kali Yuga. So that is what we are getting every morning, the nectar from all of you, Prabhuji and Mataji. Thank you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Mataji. Very nice. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much for joining. And for your information, tomorrow we have a very wonderful session. So we have started a series of lectures called as Life Coaching with Bhagavad Gita. So we are doing Gita Gyan 9. That's the batch number 9. And as a part of it, we started. But of course, it is open for all the Gita Gyan students. Life Coaching with Bhagavad Gita. And the topic for tomorrow is how to dream big. Okay, so we will see a very wonderful seminar lecture on that, how to dream big. So tomorrow the timings, etc., will be put in the WhatsApp groups. We'll put it in all the Gita Gyan WhatsApp groups. You can follow that and please join that session. Okay. Thank you very much. If there are any questions or comments, you can ask, or else we can wind up the session. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.